Yo, guys, what's up? My name is Cash Price at Cash Money Bartends on Instagram. Some of you may know me from Speed Rails. I'm a bartender out here in the Lubbock community, man, and I'm starting to get some stuff started. I'm bartending in Dallas, Houston, Austin, all around a little bit, as well as been up to Portland for PDXCW and done some really cool things in different cities. Today, I'm gonna have a guest with me. She's a bartender that worked with me at Kong's in Lubbock before our closure, sadly. And her name is Mac. So let's welcome Mac on to the first Open Bar podcast.
Mac motherfucking Sherm
Yeah,
in the building,
in this bitch,
boy.
baby. Yeah, welcome in, Mac.
Let's
What's
start
fucking
this
good?
bitch with a fucking banger.
A banger, a rumple shot right down the hatch. There she goes. It's sober December for me, guys. I'm just kind of chilling, you know.
Holy fuck.
Really not trying to drink too much. But Mac, how are you doing? How are things going for you out here in Lubbock?
They're going pretty good, I guess. I'm just trying to focus on content creation, you know what I mean? Like, just trying to figure out my little niches in my content creation.
Yeah.
Helping you out with it. We're trying to like get our little flow going, I guess.
Yeah, get our names out there and all that good shit.
It's kind of hard. I feel like my content is so scattered right now. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of just.
I feel that for sure. I definitely feel that. I feel like my content's been scattered lately too, because I'm just like I'm all over the place with like wanting to do like a flair video, or I want to do like a drink making video, recipe video, something like that. I don't know if like it's kind of just how it is.
You showed me
Mac, you're fresh into the bartending scene. You just got to touch Speed Rails for the first time. Shout out my boy at Bartender2 CEO running the game.
Mr.
Went
John.
down, brought you to Austin. Like, how did it feel to pop out and like do your first Speed Rails qualifier?
It felt great. I was really confident at first, and then it was like 7 of us trying to qualify, and I feel like I had it in the bag, and then boom, it was 15 of us, and I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah,
And it was kind of messing with me a little bit, and I was like, shit. I mean, I met a lot of great people out here. Like, that was really the point of it. I could always come back, you know what I mean? Like, and I could have just went and qualified again in a different city, but I was like, fuck it. Like,
yeah.
I didn't realize the competition was also so soon after the qualifier, so I was like, maybe it's a good thing I didn't qualify. Give me a little bit more time to practice.
That's definitely a big factor.
It's definitely different than out here.
Adding 8 people on like what a bartender would call game day is like super game changing, bro. Shout out John. Fuck you for that, dude. Because I mean, I didn't qualify either, bro. Normally I do, but.
And it was just like it was super like
it was a different bro. It's a different setting for everybody. Like I think.
Yeah, and I had you helping me, and you've done it before, and there was like shit that had changed like since the last time you had done
Absolutely,
it too. So
yeah.
it was just like it was different for everybody. Yeah, like
sure.
like he's still growing his like little business too. So you know, it's always changing. We all just gotta adjust to it. But 2025. I'm gonna be out there.
Season 4 is Matt calling her shot. Who would you like out of everybody you've met in season like from season 3 and the in betweens? Who would you want to go 1v1 against so far? Call someone out, bro. I'm here for it. Call someone out.
I want to go against Emma. She's just such a boss at what she does.
Yeah. Emma. Okay.
I want to go against Emma, but I mean, like, I'm not saying that I could beat the girl, but I'm just saying I feel like it would be cool to even say that I went against her and like maybe got a little close. You know what I mean? I would need a little bit of time though, girl. So give me a little bit of time.
Okay.
That's my aspiration, manifesting going against Emma in 2025.
Girl boss, girl love.
Girl boss versus girl boss. I love it. I'm a girl's girl. I love them.
Yeah. I mean, moving forward, I mean, honestly, let's talk about Emma, dude. I mean, as far as the Speed Rail shit goes, bro, she's popped out to Dallas.
Oh, she's
Houston,
just such a boss.
Austin.
She's a boss bitch at this.
I've been able to see Emma like kind of do a little bit of it all, bro.
Oh, and you know what's the funniest thing is I watch her interviews, I watch how she does it, and I watch her like in the qualifier, and it's just a game to her. She's not serious about it at all. She's just good at what she does. It's just a hobby for her. Like, and I love it.
It's a mindset, bro. It's it's manifest the Emma mindset for 2025.
For real. I went out there and I was like, okay, like I need to prove myself. And she's just like, and I was like,
dead.
okay, like.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we're using bar spoons right now. That's so on brand.
It is.
Yeah.
Bar spoon mics. Yeah, well, like Emma, shout out, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Emma.
Let's move on a little bit. Talk about some a little bit more speed roast stuff, and then like just dive back into like the whole bartending like world of it all. Like I said, it was your first time coming out. What are some things you think that you could like fix or like work on to better prepare you for the next speed roast qualifier and or competition?
Well, I come from a college town, dive bar scene. I definitely don't know the specs
Absolutely.
list as well as I should. Like, that's something that I'm gonna be working on before the next qualifier, or the next time I decided to qualify. Like, I wanna like I'm the reason why I said I'm glad that I didn't qualify was because I didn't realize the competition was that soon after. If I would have gotten the competition, I wouldn't have known what I was doing really. So like I need to study up on that specs list. I need to study up on like my like quickness about it, and I think next time I won't be as nervous either now that I know the people and I know what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah, for
but
sure. Just to touch on like doing it for the first time. I go back to me doing speed roast for the first time, and I think about that night I'm there, and just like you're so nervous, and it's like I mean yours is much different than mine was too. I would say mine was a little bit more aggressive because coming into the qualifying round, I mean like it's still very tense, but like I pulled up into like a straight up
right,
event, like the
right,
full
right.
event
I
version of
can never
speed
did
roast,
that.
bro. And it's just me. I got Ava with me though. We teamed up. I mean, it's just me for the solo,
That's
right?
what I was gonna say.
It's
The
just
first
me
one
for
you
the
did was a
solo.
solo.
Yeah,
That
and
that's fucking
went against Marcus from Speed Rails at Rebirth Marks. Definitely humbled me up for sure. Had some problems with the Coco Lopez. That is a hella viral video of me just like turn around, turn to John, like, what the fuck is this, bro? I'm like, damn,
that
man,
would have
like
been me. See, like, and especially
shaking that
like
pina colada, bro.
if I would have gone in there and I would have had people on my team and stuff, especially if it's people that I've been there already, I would have let people down. You know what I mean? I would have let
Bro,
people down.
dude.
I would have gotten that bitch and been like, "Yo, how do you make this?"
On some shit, bro. That's
Literally, they would have
crazy.
hated me, bro.
Dude, man, oh god, that's how it is though. You get in there and you just like you kind of wing it and you see what happens. Like I honestly didn't study the specs as much as I should have. So everything that came to me, like I got burned. And then by the time me, Ava, and Jared get up there and do our relays, shout out Jared at Parliament and Ava at Fuzzies here in Lubbock. Shout out, much love, Ava, much love, Jared. Those are the peeps. Like when I got up there with Jared and Ava, it's like you kind of the teams are different. Like y'all all really got to depend on each other and communicate. Like it's super different, and that's one thing. Like I know you haven't done teams yet, but it's a super different like battle zone. 100%. Like you got to have a different mindset going
Oh
into
yeah,
that.
for sure,
But
for sure.
yeah. Uh,
Especially coming from somebody that just like especially here in Lubbock, I feel like it's so like every man
competitive.
for themselves. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like,
Super competitive.
and I feel like that's just bartending in general. It's just like every man for himself. So that's another challenge that like the speed rails like relay like brings into the
Yeah.
like a little challenge it brings in.
Super
Like
true.
you gotta work with people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you're
you
just like
do.
not used to that.
I mean, it's kind of everywhere though. I mean, if you think about it in the bar scene, I've been to so many places and like visited so many places where you just kind of get there and like you either like when you walk in, like you get a feeling of like, all right, like this place has got the vibe that's up here or they've got the vibe that's like
Oh
down
yeah, like
here.
when we
And it's
first
all
went to
about
Kongs.
teamwork. Like
When we
yeah.
first went to Kongs, that shit was like every man for themselves, and then like
Yeah.
as towards the end, it was like we all became a team and it got better, and like everybody
Yeah.
made more money, and you know
100%.
it's definitely
100%.
something that speed rails like teaches people. Like you get further when you work with your bartenders.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, on that, let's talk about how you started bartending, like just in general. Like, what got you into the industry? Where did you start at? What the fuck made you want to choose this? Like, you chose a crazy
honestly,
life. What made you want to do
honestly,
it?
yeah, I did it, and I'm only 19 years old too. I'm only 19 years old. I've been bartending since the day I turned 18. Like I I don't know. I was working at Hobby Lobby making $13 an hour, and I was like, and I had to work for like I don't know. Bartending is more like probably the closest you can get to being your own boss. You know what I mean? So it's like I was like, "Ugh, like I just don't like this. It's so slow and da 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 da. My sister in law was a bartender at some point, and I was talking to her about it. She was like, "Oh, like you like the fast pace, you like to make your own money, like try bartending." And I was like, where do I do that at? And I went to Chimmy's. I was at Chimmy's for 9 months. 9 months, yeah, 9 months,
9 months.
and then left Chimmy's for my own reasons. Got offered a better job at Kong's. What was at Kong's until it closed down, And Kong's was probably where I evolved the most. Chimmy's was just kind of like a 1, 2, 3 step thing. Like they had their own ways to do it, and but like Kong's was like a dive bar, so it was like or like a club, so it was like everybody had their own ways to do things. Like I got to experiment a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then that's where I met Cash and like kind of evolved in like my bartending, like figured out like what real counts are and shit like that. So
yeah, for sure. The club scene's
the fast pace of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, restaurant versus club scene is definitely like two very different things.
I mean, I'd really like to argue that we were up there doing some of the top numbers in Lubbock.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely at the time, especially like with the depot going down so downhill at the time, like, and we were still pulling the numbers that we were. I guarantee you, like, especially like we weren't dealing with college students, we were dealing with Lubbock locals too. So like, and they're a little bit more loyal than college
talk about
students.
The fucking bartending trenches. I mean, this is one of them. Too.
Best money I ever made, though.
Yeah.
Best money I ever made.
Definitely,
and we had loyal customers. It was just crazy though.
I've talked to vets like in different cities too, and they tell me like, the season changes, like, and so is the bartender you are changes the same way. Like, with the season changing, like I've talked to guys like my homie Dev out in Austin. Shout out Dev, much love Dev at Respectfully Dev on Insta. Got to throw some clout for the boy. We got the Ruppel here for you. No, I like talking to Dev too. Like one of the first questions I asked him when I got out there, and I'm like under a really good like super tenured bartender like him, I'm like, yo, like the season, like what's the most money you've made and like what's the least money you've made, and like how does that alternate? Because I found that it's different in different cities too. Like Lubbock's one of those places where like the season is when tech is in school, like, and I mean even right now like it's kind of weird. Tech isn't really in season as much.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tech is really like for sure. And the transfer portal is crazy right now. Like the bar scene is completely different than when I first got here, for sure. Like, I don't know, but like I feel like that's just something like a bartender kind of subconsciously gets. Like when I switch around, I can't say that I've consistently worked at a bar for like a consistent amount of time, just because like I could work at Kong's, or let's say this. I moved to Beer House during the summertime because I knew Beer House was going to have clients during the summertime.
Right.
I couldn't work at Mesquite's on summertime.
Smooth. I mean, you got to go where it's going to make you money.
Yeah, for sure. Like
100%.
Nobody's going to go to Mesquite's during the summertime. Nobody's going to the club during the summertime because there's no college students. So I went to a restaurant where people were going to sit down and eat. And
it makes sense.
Yeah. And I made great money too.
Yeah. Talking about like moves like this and like doing these kind of things, like what do you think is, or like not necessarily what do you think, but like who are some of the people that like inspire you, or like you like kind of are motivated by? Like, I'm talking about Dev. Dev's one for me. I mean, I could mention a few others off the top of my head, but Dev is one that like I got under him and I just like, damn, this dude knows a lot. He's been doing it for a minute. And he's on the club side of things. And, I'm more of a craft bartender, but you have to be able to learn a little bit of something from everybody. So I'm just like, man, that dude is teaching me so much. Like, just even in the way you handle yourself with guests and stuff. Like, who are some people you look up to in the industry right now?
Honestly, I think the only person I ever really look up to in bartending is you, just because you have like a never-ending passion for it. You know what I mean? Like,
I hear you.
Like, I feel like everybody, like, I haven't met anybody else who really lives like sleep, breathe, and eat this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, this is all you do all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and
sometimes not a good thing. You gotta have a personal life too, guys.
Yeah, for sure. And we're learning, we're working on it. You know what I mean? So, but like, you remember when I first came to Kongs, like this shit was just something that was getting me through college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it continued to be that until like up until just recently, when I started to like dip my foot in the water of like speed rails in bigger cities and stuff like that, get to know more bartenders and stuff. Like I only just now started to get that like passion of like, oh, I want to do this. Like I want to be in the club scene, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. For sure. But I haven't really met anybody that just like puts as much passion into it as you do. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, for sure. So I can't say that I look up to anybody else, because like,
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Everybody else just kind of like does it to do it, you know? That I've met so far.
I mean, those words mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate that. For me, I think just like there's so much people that motivate me, and that's one of the really cool things about it too. Like, I mean,
and
even
the tipsy bartender, shout out the tipsy bartender.
Okay, shout out the tipsy bartender.
Get drunk as fuck like that too. And you know he's fried as shit every time you flip the video. Like, you know he's fried as shit.
Oh, man, we might have to cut that
Not
one.
my ex liking my TikTok.
We talk about like like you say I'm one of those inspirations for you. I say like one of those inspirations for me. I mean, you, Ava. Honestly, it doesn't even have to always be somebody that's doing it bigger, better, more passionate about it or anything like that. I think just the people around me inspire me. Like the people that keep me going, my family, friends, all the speed rails community as well. I would say two guys I really look up to. Mike at Cocktail Complex. I really look up to Mike on Instagram. Mike at Cocktail Complex. He just recently won the Core 43 this year.
Rome, you're
And
my
Jordan.
inspiration too. Shout
Jordan.
out Rome.
Okay, I like
Shout
that.
out Rome.
And
I'd
then
be
Jordan
watching
at
his
High Proof
stories
Preacher.
and eating them up. We're just like, wow, I want to be on a rooftop bar too.
Yeah, Rome is
eating it up.
Rome is a fucking character, bro.
And a vet.
Let's talk about Rome, though. And a vet, bro. And a vet.
Been here for a while.
He does. Like, I mean, Rome
just lives a crazy life.
Throwing me absolute sauce. I was like, how the fuck did you get that? He made it East Side the other day at the Sky Lounge. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, dude, East Side's a great cocktail. You know, you got gin, cucumber, mint.
Sometimes he'll post some of his old like bartending videos. I'm like, damn, like,
yeah, and it's so green.
I didn't know you had it in you. Like
this East Side that he made was just so green. And to me, I've made that drink like a million times now, and I'm like, Rome, how did you get it so green? But like Rome's one of those guys that he's just like so like out there. He's like, man, you know, but then he'll be really calm, and he's like, man, I tore the mint up and I put it in the shaker and then I shook the fuck out of it. I'm like, Rome, how does that make it so green? I'm like,
it's so funny.
Did you put a quarter ounce of Midori in there?
It's so funny how he shakes too. He's like,
dude,
I love it.
And then Rome's always got that one like throw up, catch it, papa, stacking the towers and all that good stuff, bro. Hey, ain't nobody do it like Rome. Rome's a one.
The few people that I have met, like, it's mostly I've only met the Austin bartender, the Austin community of speed rails, and all of them have been super great. They were all super welcoming and made me feel very comfortable. I had to kind of wedge my way in there a little bit, but you know, like, understandable. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that come in and out of this industry all the time. You know what I mean? But
100%.
So,
what's like, you know, just talking about it more and more, like, what do you hope to get out of the industry? Like, what are goals that you have that, like, what's like the big like mountaintop climb for you that you're like, man, at this point, like, I fucking made it.
Are we talking like angle, or are we talking like in the next couple years?
Let's start
angle. I wanna own my own bar one day.
Okay.
Like, I wanna have my own. I wanna own my own club one day. Like,
heard.
I wanna, like, I have my own system how I want to do it or whatever. That, like, just based off how shitty I've seen the bars work in Lubbock, how I want it to work. You know. Let's also talk about how, like, a lot of bars in Austin are getting exposed for not being ran the right way right now, and a lot of them are shutting down.
Oh, that's God!
I've been watching that shit on TikTok. That's some tea. There's a lot of them getting shut down for like assault and like.
I've had some friends that worked for some of these companies, and you know, to touch on that very lightly, because I'm not sure that's a direction I want to go for my brand, because I know lots of people in these spaces, and not
problematic though. I don't give a fuck.
And not in negative ways either. Like I know the good people, you know. I think that's another side of the bar industry that doesn't get looked at. Like, a lot of bartenders get done wrong, pretty ugly in different spaces and places they work. You know, you can really build something, feel like you're achieving greatness somewhere, and then at the snap of a finger, just
I know one thing that, like, I wanted to move to a big city to get more like stability in like the industry and like in like a bar in general, and it's just like it's just becoming more apparent that, like, no matter where you go, there's just gonna be some like pretty shady bars. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair. You got to be careful, man. You got to be careful in the industry.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can't just talk to people and know that. You know, you can't just like talk to people and know which bars are shady. Like, it's really just like they get exposed one day. Like, you just have no idea. Like,
yeah, I'm sure nobody fucking there.
Exactly. I'm sure nobody fucking knew the shit that was going on in Kongs. I didn't even know half the shit that was going on in Kongs.
I was the general manager, like, and I didn't know the shit that was going on in Kongs.
Exactly, bro. Like, you just don't know till it's gone. Like,
yeah. You really don't, and it's just like it all hits you in the face at once, bro. But as far as
one thing about me, I don't give a fuck. I don't.
You know, I respect it. I need a little bit more of that that you and me, or like just a little bit like.
I mean, there's a time to be respectful until you haven't been respected. You know what I mean? The people that I'm talking about right now, I wasn't respected.
She on here
So.
looking for violence, ready to call people
Looking for
out,
problems.
and that fuck it, bro. I guess fuck it, we ball. I've had some rough endings with some companies, and honestly, I find that for me, especially, it's just sometimes I fucking hate it, right? I fucking hate it. But to just be the bigger man, pack your shit up and move on, bro.
Yeah.
I found that it really works for me. You know, and sometimes that's just how it fucking
It
is.
sucks though, and it really gets you down. Like me. We had
We're
like a.
bleeping that too. Oh God, we're gonna have to bleep a lot of this.
We had like a.
Cut,
We didn't have.
cut.
We had like a. Not a bad partying, but like it wasn't an easy partying. You know what I mean? But like, I did what I could to stay in there, and I just at some point I was like, all right, like I hope y'all do better. Like I hope y'all do better. Have a good one. Like I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm appreciated. And the more the bar scene in Lubbock is like going downhill so bad that it's kind of just like I don't really bartend. I bartend doing events now. I don't really bartend at one specific place. I just can't find anyone that like I can't find anywhere that like does it the right way or like does it in like a it's just very college oriented.
Yeah, as far as like just man, finding the right place or like the right place that fits you can be super hard.
It's hard.
It really just depends on like what you're looking for. I
Yeah.
feel like
It's also hard too because I'm 19.
that's fair. Is
I'm
it?
19.
Okay, let's talk about this. Seriously, let's seriously talk about this. As a 21-year-old bartender myself, I'm not too far off in age from you. We are at a huge disposition in the industry, a huge disposition. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I think there's also some good in that too. There's an expectation for lots of different things.
I can understand that just because I'm not legally allowed to drink, so people would think, how
Fair
am I able
enough.
to make a good drink if I can't even taste it
Right?
legally?
I mean, that's fair, but
I notice a lot of things. I notice a lot of things, and like I grew up in a business family, so my mind is like a works. My wheels turn in a business way, so it's like I'll go in a bar and I'll bring something to the table, and it's a great idea, and it will bring customers. It'll bring a college crowd. It'll bring the people that they're wanting,
yeah.
and I know that because I've seen it happen before, and I know I'm a college student. I know what college students like, so but it just gets swept under the rug just because they don't think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, fair enough. And with the disposition in the industry, like it's just like there's an expectation for different things in everybody's bar, and I feel like they're not always met by the bartenders that have been there for very long. Like sometimes the way I look at it is, I'm just gonna come in and out hustle you. Like that's it. I'm gonna out hustle you. I'm gonna try and be more creative, and sometimes it's all about a mindset position of it though, like because in places it is competitive, and I'm not somebody that wants it to be as competitive, but some people want to make it competitive, and you just like that's the hard part of the politics in the industry, which I'm still learning myself. um you know it's very difficult to go in and work like super well as a team when the team doesn't want to work super well as a team as a whole. Like, and it's just different people, personalities clash.
That is
but
called
like,
bartender entitlement.
bartending what?
Bartender entitlement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've been somewhere for so long, and then you're like, oh, I fucking run and own this place.
And
When in
like
reality,
seniority
anybody
has
can come
anything
in
to
and
play
pop
into it.
you.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like some like.
And by pop, I mean sales. I mean sales for sure.
But like someone could be bartending in one spot. Like I don't know. In my opinion, it's like I've worked at a lot of bars and I've seen a lot of shit working at a bunch of different bars.
For sure.
I have more perspective to bring into a bar versus somebody that's been working at one bar for the last 5 years.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I mean.
That's how I feel about like all the guest shifting I've been doing, and like all of that good stuff. Like it's just one of those things too where like, yeah, the bartending entitlement's real. And what was I saying before?
But it's not like but another thing about like when it comes to age and stuff, like everybody's had to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like we're not special. Like that shouldn't have that.
No, 100%.
Everybody's had to work through that. You know what I mean? If anything, like it's honestly quite crazy that I got a job at 18, like at a bar,
I feel that.
so soon, turning 18, and like it was really hard for me, and but I did it, so I don't think that I can't do it. It's just you have to put a little bit more work into it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I could be 21 and have bartended since I'm 18, and the 26-year-old is going to get hired over me who's been
That's
bartending for
very,
2 years,
very,
you know what I
very
mean?
true.
Because
Very true.
yeah,
A lot, I haven't really got to like put it
especially
in
because
perspective.
I also look very young too.
That's also true. Elijah made a really good point at that one night when we went and sat down with
Yeah.
him. He really hit that on the head. Elijah's someone that's got a lot of knowledge in the industry as well. Been in and out of a lot of places, and we talk about being in and out of a lot of places. And like, guys, just to put in perspective for you, I look at the bartending industry as like very similar to nursing. You know, just because you worked somewhere and then went somewhere else doesn't mean you have a bad relationship with them. It's almost like a very traveling job. I feel like people don't realize that, and they're like, "Oh, you like outside of the industry." People are like, "Oh, you've worked at like 17 different bars. You
Oh
job
yeah, for
hopper."
sure.
Like, no, I've worked at 17 different bars because I guest shifted here, I guest shifted there, and then this place asked me to come here and do like a special menu or
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
like,
Like you
and
could,
that stuff's cool, man.
it's
It's
way
cool.
more common to get way more common to get better offers because
100%. Yeah,
because the industry is so competitive. Like
it's
a
so
bar,
competitive. Yeah, it's huge.
exactly. Like somebody has like 300,000 followers from bartending on TikTok. Like bars are gonna do whatever they can to get that motherfucker in there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. Versus if like you were working in business or something. Like
Yeah,
if you work for like 5 different companies, they're gonna be like, oh, like you can't hold it down. You know
yeah,
what I
and
mean?
let's
But
not forget they're not gonna like this one, but the government has us semi-regulated, like to some extent, is at least on the alcohol portion of sales stuff. They making their money off us one way or another. Like we're not getting to leave with all that like tip money that we really think we are sometimes, especially in these bigger places too. Kind of is crazy,
oh
but
yeah, Kong's is probably the only place that I worked at that we literally walked away with all our cash one night.
yeah, super
And
true.
that's probably why it was like the money was always so fucked up too, though.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
There's not really like a perfect way to do it. You know what I mean?
there
Like there you can't just like give someone a fucking pay stub most of the time. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work like
There's
that either.
definitely places that execute it well, but I think they're definitely more on the craft
Well,
side.
see,
Club is just so fast paced, boom, boom, boom. There's so much money. You make $71,000 on a certain day. It's like, man, what the fuck do we do with this $71,000 we made in one day? We got
oh yeah, for
18
sure.
people that work here.
And it's like you can try like it's really hard though with like the bar industry because you can try to do it by the book, but it's so expensive to do it by the book, and
Yeah,
anyone's gonna look for a way to cut costs in any kind of way. I
yeah,
know somebody here in Lubbock who owns a bar and they do it exactly by the book, and they go $10,000 out of their pocket every single year.
yeah, 100%.
And nobody's gonna want to do that on average. Like he just doesn't want to go to jail.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
that's
fair
literally the only
enough.
reason why he does it. That's the only reason why his bartenders get an hourly. That's the only reason why his bartenders get paid subs and taxes.
Yeah,
Most of the times they don't. They like most of the times like the bar like everybody wants to open a bar because you don't have to pay your fucking employees. At the end of the day,
uh,
everybody wants to get in the bar scene and have a bar at the end of the day because they don't have to pay their fucking employees, and that's more money in their pocket.
mm, I mean, I wouldn't say everybody,
Oh no, not
but
everybody, but like most of the
I would
bars that
say
are
like a
doing it
lot of there's
illegally.
definitely like a good handful of like bad eggs out there. Like a lot of people are like us, obviously have the vision, want the dream, and like for me, what's in a perfect world, I'm making the amount of money that's like good enough to live and like live a little bit better than what I'm living right now and still be doing what I love and just pouring drinks for people at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Be that conversation somebody has at the end of the night
Oh
when they're
yeah.
like feeling down and they just
That's
come to
really the
sit with
reason why
me.
I started
Like,
bartending because I was like, I
yeah,
love drunk people. I love being drunk. I love being
yeah,
drunk. I love talking to drunk people. I love me when I'm drunk. So I wanted to deal with drunk people, and not only that, but I get paid pretty good to do it.
yeah,
Like,
that's true.
and that's another reason why like I'm a very independent person. Literally, the money I make is up to me, and I didn't realize that until I started working at college because I would always get put at fourth well, and I always wondered why the fuck that happened. Like, damn, y'all are so unfair, but it was literally like, it, every man for themselves at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
To
Like,
preface, a lot of these Kongs talks, I was not in a management position. There was a long time there. I was just a bartender, guys.
while we were at Kongs, there was a lot of changes that happened before
Oh,
it closed
brother.
down, and like we tried to hold it up as much as possible. And honestly, we had the facade that we really were, and we just didn't realize that like it just wasn't owned by the right person. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and that person is paying the consequences of that right now.
Yeah, and everybody will.
Part of the industry.
If you're one of those bar owners that is just doing it to make more money and get it out of your pocket, so you can scam the people that are working for you. You got what's coming to you.
This is the stuff that bartenders don't want to talk about because they're afraid. Like, use your voice. Because a lot of it is like it's a tough industry. It's a shady industry. You know, we're in the industry that gets people drunk. People get DUIs from leaving from bartenders, and people
literally
go home.
It's probably
get PIs and all kinds of crazy
like
stuff,
nightlife in general. Like whether you're a stripper, whether you're a
21
bartender,
plus.
whether you're a bottle girl, anything like that, it's just a shady industry to be in general. So us talking shit is really just us talking shit at the end of the day, and nothing we say is gonna change it. It's just us like voicing how it is working in it for the last 2 years. So
yeah, definitely,
and that's just how it's been though. Like I'm friends with bottle girls in Boston. I'm friends with bartenders in New Orleans. I'm friends with like. I know fucking flair bartenders in Vegas, and they all say the same thing too. It's just that's just how it is, unfortunately. Yeah, but I mean, shit, you can't really complain because we're making more than most people do on an average night.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, regardless of all the shit that we're trying to bring to light right now, I love bartending. It's paid through my couple years of college. I'm not going to college anymore, but it's paid for my couple of years through college. It's paid for me to get a brand new car. It's paid for me to live in a nice apartment, have a dog and a cat that's beautiful and healthy. Like I'm healthy, I get fed. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like it's tested my work ethic and made me a better worker because of it. Like
as far as the industry goes, it's just like it's always going to be a huge fucking mess. No one's ever going to agree on anything.
It's too messy.
There's going to be it's like being in high school again sometimes too, bro. Until you make it to the other side, I feel like there's definitely a college, and there's always levels to everything you do. Mm-hmm. Like there's hella levels to this shit. Yeah. Like I think I just haven't made it to that level I want to be at yet, and we'll get there. I think also, all this is the start of that, hopefully.
Also, unless you're like in Houston, Texas bartending is actually real like a small scale compared to like some of these other places like Vegas, bro. They probably don't give a fuck that they're getting fucked over. Like they're like, damn, I'm still walking away with $900 a night. Fuck it if they're taking a couple thousand or a couple hundred. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
cost of living's hella different in some of these places too.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that. We talked about Vegas. We talked about all these places. Let's hop on what I feel like is a really good subject here. I think one of the biggest things is like, what is the dream destination to bartend in? Like, what's the spot? Like, you've got all the hubs. Like,
I feel like
Miami.
It just depends on like what your thing is. You know what I mean? Like you like craft bartending. I bet New York is like going to be great for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like once you get out there, like it's going to be great for you because people will appreciate that. Me, I'm a club bartender. Like I can touch in the craft scene. I can touch in like all these different like subgenres of bartending, and at the end of the day, I'm always gonna love the party. I'm always gonna love like the ghetto party. You know what I mean? So like when I open my bar, I want to be downtown Miami. Like you know what I mean? Like I want to handle that shit. I can handle that shit. You know what I mean? Like it all just depends. It all just like I guess it just depends on like what you like about it. You know what I mean? Because bartending in Vegas is gonna fit somebody else versus like somebody that wants to bartend in New York. It's just fair. Everybody everywhere has a different thing.
It's super true because I've talked to some people like when I was out at PDXCW. I got to talk to one of the guys that's like really big. I want to say it might be Smuggler's Cove out in San Fran. I'm not entirely sure. We'll fact check me later, but I got to talk to him, and like San Francisco's a big hub for the tiki bartending. Then you've got like Vegas, it's a big hub for the flair bartending. Miami's the club scene. Texas is the really different scene.
College scene.
NY is the craft scene. Like you go to all these different states. Portland's got like a super like diverse scene too. Portland's probably one of my favorite scenes I've seen. Honestly,
Boston has a great bar scene too. Boston has a very diverse.
It's easy to find bad things to say about all the places, but like, the good things about all the places are.
It's just a matter of like
you know what I mean?
When you're in the place that you want to be, like the bad shit doesn't matter. Like I don't necessarily want to be in Texas, so that's why I don't have like the best things to say about my experience. Like although it's helped me out and made me learn a lot, like this isn't where I want to be.
It's all about where you want to be at for sure.
Like Miami probably has way more vices than Tech, but I mean that's going to be where I want to be. So I'm going to love it regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Miami Vice. Throw a little pun in there. It's funny for you guys. Witty. No, yeah, Miami's definitely got like its fair share of problems. So does Texas. All these places are super diverse and different, but I think that's also what makes the bar scene so cool and beautiful. And there's so many different bartenders too.
It's always something, you know what I mean? You can't get
bored of it. It's a style thing sometimes too, but like there's people who are really passionate on the, at the end of the day, I think where you fail the most or like where you can succeed the most as a bartender is built on two things. I think it's built on like character and like how you present yourself, how you talk to people. And I think the second part is, well, really the first part, let's reverse them. You know, like how much you give a fuck about the guests. Like if you don't give a fuck about the guests, you failed. You failed already. It's all about the people on the other side of the bar.
Yeah, like, but like, let's rephrase that a little bit too, like authenticity.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
Authenticity.
make way more
It's a
money
great way to put
being
that.
like, damn, you here for another shot versus being like, oh, you want another one?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, 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 yeah.
people can tell when your smile is fake, boy. People like
It's
drunk
very
people can
true.
tell when your smile is fake. Like
People, just people.
yeah, for sure. Like I can get on here like me and Cash have two different very different personalities, and it's like I can get on here and be like fuck everybody, and Cash is gonna be like, hey, fuck, okay,
Valid, valid.
like.
You know, 100%.
But it's like you can't like either of us aren't can't be hated because that's just who we are. You know what I mean? And people
Yeah,
are gonna appreciate that more at the end of the day.
100%. What would you say your best and worst bar experiences are?
My worst bar experience.
Oh God, I'm scared. After
It's so
some of
funny
this
that
convo, I'm like,
I
fuck.
start with the worst one.
Yeah, no kidding, bro.
I'm just a little
Jesus,
pessimist, I guess.
Jesus.
My
Get
worst
into
bar
it. I'm here
experience.
for it.
I started bartending at this one bar one time, and the GM was like, is literally like a blonde woman pushing 60. Like, and I went in there, and like all her old folk were talking about, oh, girl, you're gonna get replaced, like blah blah blah. And then she told the owner not to bring me back, and she didn't
Whoa,
tip me out $1. That was my worst
guys.
bar experience.
Jeez. Okay,
Um,
the best though. Let's talk about the best.
the best bar experience I've had.
Let's throw some love. Throw some love
The
out there.
best bar experience I had was whenever I started working the shop bar at Kong's, because like that was my space. I cleaned it up. I had all my liquor set out how I wanted it to be. People knew that I was up there at the front every single time.
Yeah.
Like I had the people that showed me love that came back to me, people that would come and party with me, give me shots sometimes. Like I think, and I don't know, I just that like as messy as Kong's was, like I think that was always like no matter how far I go, that's always gonna be my favorite experience because that was the first time that I found like a family in my bartending. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
No, for
as
sure.
much as we bickered or whatever, it was more so like a brother sister bicker. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it
100%.
wasn't really like a oh fuck you. It was more so like
Yeah.
fuck you.
I think
Like
to reverse that and then like ask myself those questions too. I feel like my best and worst bar experiences. I'm gonna start with my fucking worst too.
yeah,
I
it's easier to
feel like
think
it
of
just
your
makes sense. It
worst.
makes sense to start with your worst experience. Um, I've had some bad bar experiences. I
You've been a lot more places than me too.
I would say, fuck, man, so many that I've had to. I gotta think about it. You know what? We'll start my best. We'll start my best because off the top of my head, I can think of my best. So the very first, like, it was my first time in, or not first. It was like my second time in Dallas. I was pulling up to Dallas, and this fucking homie from the fucking speedero shit, he's like, "Yo, like, there's this fucking block party at my bar on this random fucking Sunday. Like, you should pull up." And I'm like, all right, I'm down, and I pull up, and it's my boy Weto. Shout out, show some love to Weto. Weto's bartending on Instagram. Uh, Makes it me and Ramos Gin Fizz. If you've seen that video, it's got over 1 million views. Shout out. But no, I pull up on him, and like this dude is just like so clean behind the bar, so crisp. Like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he's been there forever, and the service is just impeccable. Like we didn't even really know each other that well for him to just be taking such good care of us. And so I feel like that was really one of the first times I felt like industry love too. And this I could easily compare that with like Nick too. Like my very first time pulling up to Shakertons, like I felt that love when I was there. Marcus too. I felt that love when I was there. I mean, even at places like when I was out in London, they take service of the customer very
Hmm.
seriously. Uh, Showed a lot of love to me there. I'd say probably one of my worst bar experiences was also also in London at unnamed may or may not top 50 bar in the world actually. So I went with my buddies, fucking Jason, Noe, Cameron, and Chloe. We were all out there together, and we pull up to this bar, and it's like it's fucking weird, bro. Like they ain't got like nothing on the back bar. I'm like, all right, like but I'm there for the modern vibes, and like sometimes it takes you a little while to come back to something and understand it, which like I understand the concept more now, but it just wasn't executed for me that night. And so like I mean, I'm sure it's like great people in there, and like if I revisited now, it might change my perspective because back then I didn't really know shit about bartending, but just like the drinks were pretty rough. Um, and they just kept slamming us with fucking water, so we got to the point that they were slamming us with water so much that they would come back over every single time, and he was coming like every 5 seconds to refill our water because we were slamming the water on purpose because we were
So you
getting
could get
better
more
we were
drink.
getting better service off the water than we were off the fucking like drinks and everything else. So at that point we just like, this is fucked up, bro.
How
But like,
different are the laws of like the bar scene in London than the U.S.? Are they
well,
more strict?
first and
I feel like they
foremost,
get fucked up there.
it's 18 plus now.
Ah.
So, a little less strict than the United States. Might be nice if we had that here, probably make some more fucking money.
Oh, for sure.
But also US and Europe are very different. So I would say that's like probably the first and foremost. I would say London's probably a little less strict, a little bit more fun. A lot of places out there don't close as early.
Hmm.
Um, this is also just a fucking blast. Also,
I
I
guess
think
that is
public
how
public
the
transport
government
out there
has.
like really helps everything
Mm,
because it's kind of hard to get a DUI in London on the train.
you're right.
Like you might get arrested for being like so
Like
fucked
public
up, like just
intoxication,
destroying
but
like a zombie out on the street. But public transport out there is just so well done that it's kind of hard
that
for
makes
it to
sense.
be
I guess
reckless.
that's another way that like
Yeah.
the government has like a raps on how we like how as bartenders make money and
The
shit.
big thing out there is people spiking drinks.
Ooh,
That's the big thing out there.
that's pretty big out here too.
Yeah. I would say it's much bigger there though, for sure.
Yeah,
I've
that
never
makes sense.
I've only seen like a drink like that I thought get spiked one time, and I put a stop to it, assuming. But
I feel like places that are 18 plus is like way worse about spiked drinks than like
yeah,
21 plus.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I went to school with these two girls one time. Um, they went to New Mexico or they went to Mexico a couple months ago, and they were drinking at a bar, and they were on the beach, and their family went to go set up at the beach. They had one drink, and they went missing. And they found them in the bathroom, and they were like passed out, like knocked out, and they were in the hospital for like a month straight because they couldn't get out of Mexico.
What the fuck?
And one of the girls was like borderline anorexic when that happened, and so she was just like
Feels like a trauma dump.
Yeah, she was on her like deathbed basically, and they just couldn't afford to bring her back or pay for the hospital bills because it's like 5,000 a day in New Mexico, bro.
Fuck, man. Let's talk about some shit in the world though too. Just like to top it off and wrap up the podcast, Mac. I'm super glad that you sat with me today. I'm super excited about it. Really cool to have you here as my first guest on the Open Bar Pod.
Fuck yeah.
And
Sherm City.
It'll be really cool to continue to see how you grow and keep doing in the bar industry for sure. But
what's your biggest goal in 2025?
My biggest goal in 2025. I got to be at
As a
Tales of the
bartender.
Cocktail. I got to be at Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans. That's one of them. I want
For like a guest shift, or you want to work there?
Fuck. Well, Tales is a huge convention. So
okay.
It'd be really cool to work it. It'd be even cooler to speak it. I don't think I'm there yet, but I just want to be there. I want to meet all the beautiful faces and different people. Want to go out to Chicago. I want to travel a little bit more and like just figure out the industry more this year, grow in the industry, and like figure out what different states, cities, countries are doing. I want to just evolve everything and then be on the lookout because me and at Weddle's Bartending have something huge planned for 2025. It's on the way. It's going to be fucking crazy. It's going to be a Texas only thing, so you can only get it here, guys. We're going to plug that fucking hard as fuck. That will be that'll be big, bro. That'll be big. I'll have to talk to you about it, maybe after the podcast because we ain't letting them know yet, but it's coming for sure, for sure. That's my big goal for 2025, and just grow the studio and like keep collabing with people like you. So
hell yeah,
it'll be cool. My last question to you, Mac, before we cut this podcast off. I got two. Actually, I'm gonna finish you off with two. Okay, so you have had Rumple, you've had Fireball, but you haven't had Malort. Do you know anything about Malort? Okay.
No.
Stay tuned for the next
It's dark,
time.
right?
It's interesting. Stay tuned for the next time we get Mac on because we're gonna have some Malort and Mac's gonna try Malort.
Oh God! Wait, I'm pretty sure I did try. I think you made me try it in Austin.
Wait a minute, you did and you liked it.
I did like it. I did
actually,
like it.
This is true.
Because I tried it at Christian's house, didn't I?
No. You tried it at Wiggle Room. Or no, you didn't try it at Wiggle Room.
I tried the M&M at Wiggle Room.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
It tastes like leather.
Dairy industry shot, if you know what an M&M is. Yeah, that's like one of the big things in the industry right now. It's like these weird ass fucking shots.
Weird shots that don't taste
Mezcal
good at all.
Campari, shit like that. Like it's gas to me. You know, I'm never taking a shot of Malort. But yeah. So we'll have to get Mac to round back. We'll have Malort for net, Rumple, Fireball in the house. We'll do a taste test comparison.
Not doing Fireball, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get her to drink some Fireball.
Oh,
and last question I have for you. This is the biggest one ending 2024. Who won the beef, Kendrick or Drake?
Kendrick.
That's it, guys.
Period. Is that even a question?
I completely agree with you. They not like us. Crank that Soldier Boy. Drink your tequila pineapples and remember the Alamo. Shout out at Henry Samarin. Guys, we'll see you on the next Open Bar podcast. Mac, I appreciate you coming in.
Mak Sherm out.
Mak Sherm out.
Boom.
Cash Money Bartends out.